Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Now, I'm hoping that you're all doing well and you're taking care of yourself. I just want to update a couple of things here before I get going with the video. Is that recently I've been having some problems with my video editing software where the camera and the audio was not syncing. It was very out of tune or out of sync, right? So that preventing me to do quite a bit of videos recently, and also it impacted the course of the peace of mind that I have been working on. So I had been working around it, and after probably close to a month now that I've been having these problems, I believe I finally found the answer, the solution, what was going on to the video problem. So hopefully from now on I'll be uploading a little bit more regularly, um, and we'll see what happens. If there's more problems, you're probably going to notice because I won't be uploading as much. So, and on that note, the program for Peace of Mind is done. I basically finished recording yesterday, and now I just need to edit a few things, add some resources, and should be up now in a couple of weeks, hopefully, unless there is something that happens that is very drastic. But hopefully that doesn't happen, obviously. Alright, so for this video here, I have something that's close to my heart. And this video here, I call it the collective shift. And this is very well connected to be the change that you want to see in the world. My dear Gandhi, you will always be remembered. So, many of us are wondering if our efforts, if the changes that we're making to our own life, if they have any effect whatsoever, not only to our own personal lives, but to the outside world. So this video is very much about this. So let's get started. So if we were able to look back in time, there would be so many things that we would see that change dramatically. From seeing people who used to work primarily in physically demanding jobs, to now people are working so many office jobs. Then if we were able to look at how so many people before were living in small towns, and they spent their whole lives in that small town, and now there's people traveling the world. And also there's things such as before we used to be forced, in a sense, to follow the dominant religion of the area. And now, well, we're able to pick which system of belief that aligns with us. But again, if we just focus on what is in front of us right now, we would not really understand how things have changed this dramatically, because before, in the not so distant past, many of these things were not possible. There are so many other examples that I could list on how life has changed dramatically over the years. Here in the Maritimes, we used to have very large families, but now so many couples have 1 or 2 kids maximum usually, and so many have none. But because we can only go back so long in time, in our memory, in our records, there are things that we have not realized how they have changed from one extreme to the other. What I'm talking about here is a sort of small drip change that eventually builds upon itself, and over time the change is enormous. So There's another type of change, one that happens extremely fast. But as I said, most changes, they start off very slow at first. We see this phenomenon when we look at the 100 monkey effect, where once there was a monkey who learned how to open up a coconut with a rock. And at first, there was only that single monkey that knew how to do it. Then eventually, other monkeys started learning the same thing. So the monkeys that were part of this tribe, that a monkey finally opened the first coconut, others started doing the same thing. And then more monkeys learned, and then more. And eventually it spread across the entire tribe. And now every single monkey on that tribe knows how to instinctively open up a coconut. So this not only happens inside the tribe, but this phenomenon spreads to other tribes of monkeys that are not connected whatsoever. So you could have another tribe of monkeys, similar monkeys on an isolated island that have no contact with the first tribe, and all of a sudden these monkeys start realizing that they can open up a coconut with a rock. So how is this possible? That these monkeys are not connected, yet they learn from what the other tribe did. And if you just dismiss it, you're missing out on something quite interesting here. With the 100 monkey effect, there's other theories that confirm this. We have the straw that broke the camel's back. We have the term of the unstoppable force. We have the term of critical mass. So what is going on here? How can we explain what happens when something like this happens? Well, again, we can look at just three, and this is just, there's more than explain this, but if we look at the collective unconscious concept that was developed by Carl Jung, he talks about how all information is available to us in a sort of record-keeping cloud of sorts. We can access this cloud and be able to know anything that has ever happened throughout history. And Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, also came up with another term which is called the akashic field, which says the same thing, that we can tap into a field of information. There's another guy that is called Rupert Sheldrake. He came up with morphic resonance, and this is the same concept that both Jung and Cayce talked about. So all three talk about this invisible field where knowledge is stored. And if we want to tap into this field, we're tapping into everything that has ever happened. This 100 monkey effect and different theories that I listed, such as a critical mass. There's other theories that are very similar to it. I was having a conversation with ChatGPT where I was asking ChatGPT to tell me about these different theories and concepts, and it listed a whole bunch of them, but for some reason the ChatGPT did not keep records, so now I can't go back looking to the conversations where I talked about this. So the field and the akashic field seems to be gone when it comes to ChatGPT. but it's stored somewhere else, I'm sure. So what it talks about here, critical mass, basically is talking about how where one individual starts something, and then eventually other people that are close to this individual, in a sense, copy, and this eventually accumulates into a collective change. So an individual's action can spread throughout the whole of society. So if you ever doubt that you have any power to change the world or to inspire other people, just think about this and how that single monkey was able to teach every single monkey of his tribe on how to open up a coconut. So there's other theories that I remember. The point of no return is connected to this, where an idea spreads like wildfire. And at first these ideas were first slow, and then it picks up steam and grows faster and faster until that it spreads everywhere. So something small can eventually become an unstoppable force. Thomas Kuhn, he came up with a theory that he called paradigm shifts, where profound changes can happen very fast, and it spreads throughout the whole world with a new paradigm, so a new way of seeing things, a new way of doing things. So at first it starts out very slow, then it gains momentum and grows exponentially, eventually encompassing all of life. So again, if you don't believe what you do matters, think about everything I just talked about. A butterfly flapping its wings can eventually cause a tornado on the other side of the world. The same applies to ourselves. At first, we make a small change. Then this change slowly gets amplified. It builds momentum. Eventually, you realize you're totally a different person, that you have totally transformed your life. So not only can we see this when it comes from the individual and society, but we also see this phenomenon when it comes to just looking at an individual. So a series of steps can totally transform your life, and all it took was that first initial step to get things going, and then the snowball builds and builds and builds. We cannot underestimate the power of small steps, because these small steps will eventually accumulate into profound changes. And if we were to look back, you would see how you totally transformed your life, and it all is due to these first small steps. So how can you take a step in a different direction that might snowball into a totally different life for you? And then you can inspire other people to do the same. And then this motivated other people to follow until the whole society is changed because you did. So do you still think that what you do doesn't matter? How can we change the world? Well, We change it by changing ourselves. We must be the change we want to see in the world. Good old Gandhi. And all of this change happens because you decided to change the direction of your life. Do you realize now how powerful that you are? So, if you feel small, just think about this video. If you feel that you're not powerful, think about this video. All of this is possible. You can accomplish anything, but first you need to have that first step. You need to take that first step. You need to have the courage to do the first step. And at first you might not notice the changes, but if you keep on it, I guarantee that your small steps will build towards something amazing. And this reminds me of a quote that says, "Be careful of your thoughts, as your thoughts will become your actions. Be careful of your actions, as your actions will become habits. And be careful of your habits, as your habits will become your destiny." So you want a different destiny? Start by changing that first initial thought. That will change the first action. That will change your destiny. So, what are you going to do with this information? What steps are you going to make that will totally change your life?